All right. Are we recording? I think so. All right. So, hello everyone. How are we doing today? Good. Oh, good. Someone keep time. That'd be great. So today we're going to be learning about giving speeches and giving an informal speech. Now, first I'm going to kind of tell you about what an informal speech is. An informal speech is different than a formal speech because you can use humor. So you can make a joke and you can be more casual. You can also ask your audience questions, and you can also answer the questions that they ask you while you're talking. In a formal speech, you usually wait till the end to answer questions. Also, in an informal speech, you don't have to memorize everything. So you can use note cards, and if you forget what you're supposed to say, you can look down at your note cards to help you remember. What's important, though, is that you don't hold your notes in front of your face and read off of them the whole time, because then no one will really be able to hear what you're saying. So you want to make eye contact. And if you forget what you're supposed to say, you can glance down and then keep talking. It's also important to smile and use gestures and, again, make eye contact. Yeah. So I am going to start by modeling my presentation, which is going to be about the place that I grew up, which is in Hawaii. And so just pay attention to what I do, and later on you can use my presentation as a model. Okay? So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Have you ever heard of Hawaii? You know, that big group of rocks in the middle of the ocean where it's always warm? Yeah, well, I'm from Hawaii, and today I'm going to be telling you about the geology of Hawaii, and especially my island where I grew up, the Big Island of Hawaii, or just called the Big Island. It's called the Big Island because it's the biggest island out of all the other islands in the state. So I'm going to tell you about the geology. And you can see that Hawaii, the state, is the most western state in the United States. So here's the United States, and if you go to the west, then here's Hawaii. And here's the state of close, and here is the Big Island, or the island of Hawaii, what we'll be talking about today. So the biggest city on the Big Island is called Hilo, and it's right here. It's a small city of about 50,000 people, but it's not the town that I grew up. I grew up on the other side of the island, right here, in a town called Kailua-Kona. And you may be wondering, what do people love about the Big Island? Why is it that so many people want to visit each year? I believe it is because of the geology. And in the geology, I believe there are three special things. There's the mountains, the waters, and the volcanoes. So today I'm going to be telling you about those things today. First of all, let me tell you about the mountains. So there are two important mountains that you can see right here. Here we have Mauna Loa, and that means long mountain in Hawaiian because it's a very long mountain. And then we have Mauna Kea, and that means white mountain. And that's because in the wintertime, the mountain gets snow on the top. I bet you didn't know that there was snow in Hawaii, huh? Yeah, it's pretty surprising. So Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea are not only mountains, but they're also volcanoes. But Mauna Loa has not erupted, Mauna Loa here, has not erupted in 38 years. And Mauna Kea has not erupted in 6,000 years. So I think we're okay for now. Second, I want to tell you about the active volcano on the Big Island. It's called Kilauea Volcano. And here's a picture of Kilauea Volcano. So Kilauea is located here on the island. It's the youngest and most active volcano. In fact, the name in Hawaiian, Kilauea, means spewing. Do you know what the verb to spew means? Yeah, spewing. Here, I can write it out for you. spewing or to spew. And spewing is when a lot of stuff comes out of something very quickly. So for example, you could say, Kilauea volcano has been spewing lava for 34 years, which is true. So spewing, it means just coming out very quickly. Yeah, so that's what Kilauea means in Hawaiian. Recently though, Kilauea volcano has been spewing lava into neighborhoods. And that's not good for the people who are living there. They have to leave their homes. Yeah. So Kilauea volcano is located about 33 miles from Hilo. And it's located in a national park. So the national park is called Volcanoes National Park. Right now the park is closed because of the eruptions, but normally you can go hiking and camping there. Does anyone here like to go hiking or camping? Yeah, all of you guys? Me too. So finally, let me tell you about the water on the Big Island. So you can see that the Big Island and the state of Hawaii is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. Does anyone know where the Pacific Ocean is located? To the west, yes, exactly. Yeah, so here's the Pacific Ocean. And the Pacific Ocean surrounds the Big Island and all the other islands. So here are the other islands coming off the map. Yeah, so there's lots of water and there's a lot of beaches on the Big Island. So you can see, yes, here's the Pacific Ocean around here, and here is Hapuna Beach. And here's a picture of Hapuna Beach right here. It's beautiful, but it's also the longest beach on the Big Island. So, yeah, Hapuna Beach is about half a mile long. And if you look to the other side of the island, you'll come see Waipio Valley. And here's a picture of Waipio Valley. An interesting fact about Waipio Valley is that the road going down into the valley is the steepest road in the United States. It's very steep, and it's a little bit scary. Also, the name Waipio in Hawaiian means curved waters. And that is because there is a very long river in the valley called the Wailuku River. The Wailuku River is 28 miles long, and it's the longest river in the state of Hawaii. Waipio Valley also has the tallest waterfall on the island, and it's called Waihilau Falls. You can see it right here. So it's inside of Waipio Valley, in the very back. In Hawaiian, Waihilau means many trickling waters. Do you know what trickling means? Trickling is when there's just a little bit of water coming down. So you can see from the photo that the waterfall isn't very wide. So it's very tall, but it's very thin. There's not a lot of water that comes down. But Waihilau Falls is almost 2,600 feet tall. It's very tall. And you can hike to Waihilau Falls, but it's a very long hike and it's very difficult. So maybe it's for more experienced hikers. All right. Well, you can see why so many people want to visit the Big Island. I hope that you can all visit the Big Island and Hawaii someday. I think that the best time to visit the Big Island is in the winter because it's still warm outside, but you can also enjoy the snow on top of Mauna Kea, which is really something special because you can build a snowman and then you can go surf later that day. So it's pretty fun. If you love the outdoors and geology, then I think that you will love the Big Island. Thank you for listening. All right, thank you guys. So that was an example of what my expectations are for your presentations on your regions from your posters. You can see that my presentation had 7 parts. There were 7 parts to it. So now I'm going to hand out each of you some index cards, and it has all of the parts of my speech on them, but they're all mixed up. So what I would like you to do is to put the cards in a number the cards 1 through 7 in the order that you heard my speech, that I said my speech. Okay, you can feel free to write on them. I'll give you about 2 minutes. So yeah, there's 7 parts. So the first thing that I said will be the first card, and the last thing I said in my presentation will be the last card. All right, looks like we're about done. Great. Now I'd like to go over which cards went where. Okay, so Annie, could you read the first 3 words from the first card?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, right. We have good. Oh, wait, that's good there. Good afternoon, everyone. Great. And Raylyn, could you read this sentence, the first 3 words from card number 2?
Yeah. Today I'm going to.
Good. So today I'm going to. Great. And Wendy, could you read the first 3 words from number 3?
First of all.
First of all, yeah. First of all. Great. And Annie, could you read the first 3 words, or the first word from number 4?
Second.
Second. Yeah. Raylyn, could you read the first word from card number 5?
Finally.
Finally, yeah. And Wendy, could you read the first word from card number 6?
Well.
Well. Yeah. And what's the last card? Yeah, thank you for listening. Great. I'll just put that right here. All right. So we have our cards in order, but now I want us to label the sections, because there are 7 sections and each section has a name. So if we look up here in this area, we have our functions, or our labels or names for each section. So what I want you to do is to write the name of the section on top of the card for which section it is. Okay, so we have point 1. These are all mixed up, so you have to decide which order they're in. We have point 1, we have introduction, point 3, end of speech or the closing, point 2, we have the hook. And do you know what the hook is? The hook is what you say at the beginning of a speech or presentation to grab your audience's attention. So like when you're fishing and you catch a fish, you have a hook, you want to hook your audience. Yeah? Wendy, what is a hook?
A hook is to get your audience.
Yeah, great. And it can be a hook can be a question, or it could be a fact, or it could even be a joke, kind of like what I did. It can be a joke. And those are all ways of presenting your hook. All right, so now I would like you to please write the name of each section on top of your card. I'll give you about 2 minutes. right, it looks like people are wrapping up, so we can carry on. Now let's go over the answers that we decided. So, Raylin, what was the name of the section for card 1 for the function?
The hook.
Yeah, that's right, the hook. Great. All right. And Annie, what was the name of the function for card number 2?
Introduction.
Yeah, that's right, the introduction. All right, and Wendy, what was the name of the function for card number 3?
That one is the point 1.
Yeah, great, point 1. Point number 1. And this can also be called the body. Usually in a presentation, there's 3 body, either paragraphs or sections of information, of different information. So I'll put body. All right, and Raylin, what was the name of the function for card number 4?
Point number 2.
Yeah, that's right, point number 2. There's also a body section. All right, and Annie, what was the name of the function for card number 5?
Point number 3.
Yes, that's correct. All right. Number 3, and that is the final body section. All right, and Wendy, what was the name of the function for card number 6?
This one is the conclusion.
Yes, that's right, the conclusion. And the conclusion can usually be a summary of what you've said before. So I'll just put summary here. And then for card number 7, Annie, what was card number 7?
End of speech.
Yeah, right, the end of speech, or the closing. End of speech, and then closing. Great job, you guys. All right, so now, all right, I want you to put your index cards back together and hand them to me. All right, now we're going to do a little listening activity. Where I'm going to say my speech again, and as I am saying my speech, I want you to fill in the blanks with the phrases that I've used to organize my speech. Okay? And as I'm talking, if you don't hear something or if you don't understand, if you remember from our last lesson, there are some questions that you can ask for me so I can help you understand better. Okay, so the questions you can ask are, could you say that again, if you didn't hear it correctly? All right, another one you could say is, how do you spell whatever the word is that you don't know how to spell? Okay, and the last question is, what does the word that you don't understand mean? All right, so as we're going through, these are some questions that you can ask if you don't understand or if you didn't hear correctly. All right, so what are the questions for again, Raylin?
We don't understand.
Great, okay. So, are we all ready? Great, okay. How's my time? Great, okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever heard of Hawaii? Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever heard of Hawaii? Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever heard of? Today I'm going to tell you about the geology of my island. Today I'm going to tell you about the geology of my island. Today I'm going to tell you about what do people love about the Big Island? What do people love about the Big Island? What do people love about? I believe it is the mountains, the waters, and the volcanoes. I believe it is. I believe it is. First of all, let me tell you about the mountains. First of all, let me tell you about the mountains. First of all, let me tell you about. There are two important mountains. There are two important mountains. Did you know that there is snow in Hawaii? Did you know that there is snow in Hawaii? Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea are not only mountains, but also volcanoes. Not only mountains, but also volcanoes. Second, let me tell you about the active volcano on the Big Island. Second, let me tell you about in fact, the name Kilauea in Hawaiian means spewing. In fact, do you know what the verb to spew means? Do you know what the verb to spew means? For example, you could say, it is called Volcanoes National Park. Oh wait, is located, sorry. Kilauea is located about 33 miles from Hilo. It is called Volcanoes National Park. Do any of you like to go camping or hiking? Do any of you like to go camping or hiking? Great, and we'll just cut it off there for means of time. Great, okay, now I want you to, with a partner, kind of look over your answers and compare them. You want to do that. And then, I think for lack of time, we won't write out all the answers, but I can go through that. All right, so for our introduction, the answers were, today I'm going to tell you about, or good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever heard of? Number 2, today I'm going to tell you about. Number 3, what do people love about? Number 4, I believe it is. Number 5, first of all, let me tell you about. Let's keep going. All right, great job, you guys. You are such good listeners. So now I want you all to create or make your own presentation speech right now, okay? Using this format and the 7 sections, I can hand out some note cards. Whatever they need. That's It's fine. Okay, on a back of a piece of paper, if you could write out a small speech about your area or region that you created your poster about. I'd give you about 5 minutes. And while you are creating your presentation, I want you to think about the rubric that you have not seen. So in this rubric, I want you to have a hook. So remember we talked about the hook. Your speech should have an introduction with a topic and why it is important. So hook and introduction. You should give at least 3 main points. So 3 main points. Give some interesting extra information. So maybe an interesting fact. I want you to have a conclusion that is connected to your introduction. That's important because that wraps up the presentation. I would like you to use at least 5 words from chapter 1, 5 vocabulary words. That could be volcano, or mountain, lake, river, geology, any of those words, and those are in your book. I'd also like you to use phrases to introduce your section. So what's a phrase that I used? What's the phrase I used to introduce point 1? Annie?
First of all.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a phrase that you guys use to introduce my section. All right, I'd also like you to prepare a map with images, but you've already prepared your posters, and I'd like you to point to the map when you're talking about that area, or point to the pictures. And finally, in your rubric, I'd like you to ask at least 3 questions while you're giving your presentation, so that you can keep the audience's attention throughout. If you're asking questions, then that forces them to pay attention. Okay? So keep those things in mind while you are writing your presentation. Okay, cool. I guess we can cut it off there because we don't have time for me to have you guys do your presentation. Oh yeah. Cool. All right. Well, great job on your presentations, you guys. You did a great job. I'm so looking forward to you presenting your posters in class. Yeah, so, Annie, how many sections are in a speech? Yeah, you're right. Okay. And Raylan, what is a hook?
A graph so that you're in, you can ask a question or use a joke.
And Wendy, why do we ask questions in our presentation?
Because it's important. And we want to know.
Yeah, it also keeps the audience's attention. Yeah, exactly. All right, great job, you guys. Good job today. Thank you. All right.
And should I go last then?